Hello and good evening. It's Thursday evening and time for Trisha Time with So Totally Trisha. So, I wonder who's going to be joining me tonight. It has been a very blustery day here, but fairly pleasant. The door is closing. No, not quite. And I've been a little bit of a busy bee with a nana nap in between, because we all need a nana nap now and again, don't we? Just to keep the energy flowing through the brain as well as the body. Because when we are of that age, sometimes the body doesn't work as the brain wants it to. But let's see if anybody would like to say hello. Hopefully, being on the So Totally Trisha page, I should be able to see some comments. Let's hope, please, Facebook. So please say, there we are, there's Raina. Good afternoon to you. And Patricia, lovely to see you both. And the rest of the people that are coming on as well. Hello, Sarah, and hello, Christine. And hello, Catherine. And Gita. Yeah, I'm just fine, thank you. And there's Pat. Hello, Pat. Hello, Jill. I've got a lot of orders out today as well. Hello, Maria. So lots of you will have bits and pieces winging their way to you. Hello, Sharon. I hope you're well over there in Northern Ireland. Oh, pardon me. Shouldn't have that glass of water. But you never know. As soon as I start sewing, I start to cough, don't I? Haven't coughed all day, and then all of a sudden, hello, Patricia. Because I'm talking a lot, the throat gets dry. But this evening, can you see what's behind me? Hello, Caroline, and hello, Alison. Hello, Sandra, and hello, Beverly. Beverly's been a busy girl. I think you ought to make more of everything you make. Absolutely beautiful. Hello, Karen, and hello, Jill from Oxford. Well, oh, hello, Gita. Oh no, Gita's received your lovely dotted parcel. Fabulous. Hello, Kirsten. Hello, Angela. Hello, Jack. Parcel's going out to you, Jack. I remember seeing your name there. Hello, Marion, and hello, Marilyn, and hello, Christine, who says, hello, everyone. Hello, Amanda. Oh, you're welcome, Beverly. Credit where it's due. Tony, good evening to you. And Elaine. Oh, yeah, there's lots of you. Yes, so if you can see on the wall behind me, that is what we are going to be doing in the Sew with Trisha group next Tuesday. Oh, fantastic, Sharon. I see John Scott has gone there. Yes. Oh, I just thought I didn't bring through something I wanted to. Oh, jolly good, Jill. Do you know Royal Mail is being very good? There's only one thing that I'm a little bit miffed about that they pointed out to me. Those of you who received a Liso iron, the mini iron, the box I put it in was 1 centimetre too big. 1 centimetre, we're talking, half an inch too big to go as a small parcel. Hello, Leslie. So it cost nearly £6, and that was Monday, and yet on Friday it was the normal £3.99, and I could not believe it. A little bit miffed about that, because I don't want parcels costing £6. No. So whether they've changed dimensions, I don't know, but it's made me have a rethink about certain things. But yeah, it was actually 16 centimetres tall it could be, and the boxes were 17. Now how anybody could pick up that, I do not know, but at least she told me, and I couldn't complain because that's what it says, and I measured another one and that's what it was. So a little bit annoying, but I looked into Every, and I can't be doing Every. I've had too many problems when I was with Create and Craft of Every not delivering parcels, so I'm not going there, I'm afraid. Yeah, I mean, I don't despair, Patricia, with their delivery. It's pretty good, and some of the second class parcels have got there next day over the last few weeks, which is brilliant. But the package sizes is just terrible. It's like buying a bar of chocolate It was £1 years ago, and it's still £1 now, but you only get half the amount of chocolate. That's what they're doing. We are not daft, you know. Oh, good, Jack. Oh, I know what I didn't do. It's just reminded me. I will put some of the panels on the website because I have got some left over. And I think, Jack, you may have asked for some and I forgot. Oh, I'm sorry. But I have got some more of the Beach House panels available, and I'll put them on in the morning, so have a look then. Hello, Kathleen. Hello, Paula and Sandra. And Josie, hi. And Elaine. Yeah, you're right, Jill. Royal Mail, you know, they've got a lot of money to pay out, though, haven't they, in the, well, hopefully by the end of the year, to all those people that they wronged. So I suppose they've got to make their money somehow. And what's the best place of making money? Go to the general public, their customers who use them, make them pay for it, even though we did nothing. But there we go. I won't get on my high horse about that. Good evening, Judy. Yeah, Jeeta. I know my every driver is lovely. Now, quite often QVC, I think, use every a lot. And it's not down to the individual, well, sometimes it is, but most individual drivers who actually bring it to your door are fine. It's what happens at all the centres where they are put into the relevant piles to go to the drivers. They don't particularly look after them well, throw them about and lose them. But the actual delivery people to us as individuals are great. I haven't got a problem with that. But it's getting from my house to a distribution centre and getting out to that delivery driver. That is the problem in the middle. You don't know what is going on. Oh, thank you, Karen. I try my best. There's sometimes... one of the things was delayed this week because my printer went wrong. Oh, it was, I said, I think yesterday, it was like losing my left arm or my right arm. I need my printer, and it's working now, thank goodness. Hello, Carol. Yeah. Hello, Sue. Hello, Hayes. And Christine, hello. Yvonne. Yes, okay. Now, what I was going to show you, because I must give credit again where it is due. Right, I'm back. I opened these parcels up and then I didn't bring them through. So, oh, they lost a TV. Goodness. Yes, yes. Now, Hobkirks, if you're buying, I'm not saying, you know, sewing machines, there's lots of good selling machine businesses around. Hi, Barbara. It did, Gita, indeed. But when you want accessories to go with your machines, it's where do you look? Sandra's printer wasn't working either. Oh, well, I know mine was because the broadband, I had a different router, and oh, I couldn't do it. Hello, Marilyn. Hello, Carol. And I saw a little video somewhere. It might be on Facebook. And whatever the machine the lady was using was a Juki, and she had got a very narrow foot. And she was sewing, she was doing a zip. Now, you know my little tip about not having to change, it's me being lazy, not having to change your zipper foot, but continuing to use your standard foot and moving the needle. And then you can use your standard foot to put a zip in. I'm very lucky, I haven't opened it yet, so I'll take this off, but on the Juki that I have, and I use most of the time, I'm just going to take this foot off. The standard foot is 1/4 inch wide. So that is my standard Juki foot. It's lovely. So I do all my patchwork with this. I don't have to have a 1/4 inch foot because this is the standard foot, and amazing. Love it. But when I saw this one that looked similar, but even narrower, hello Jenny, I thought I need one. I need one. Hello, Fiona. We are now, thank you, Fiona. Martin had COVID, but now he hasn't. Now he's over it. So, look at this. This is going to be amazing. I haven't even tried it yet. So, there is my, this one is my standard one. Look at that. Look at that foot for a dinky one. So, it is that, hard to show it there, that narrow. So, obviously, I can't do a zigzag, but there are the 2 feet. Look how dinky that is. I am so looking forward to using that. Yeah, Gita. I didn't know it was Sue. Yes, I did hear that, but I didn't know it was an Amazon driver. How dreadful. What is this country coming to? What's Jenny saying there? Where are we, Jenny? Oh dear, all these words are going up so quickly. What was the brother foot Stuart Hillard and everyone was raving about? I haven't seen it yet, but did record it. I don't know. I didn't watch. I don't know if there's a brother foot. I heard comments the other week that he was going to have a foot that cuts as well, whether it was that one. So it acted a little bit like an overlocker by stitching and trimming the fabric at the same time. Could have been, but I don't know. Yes, they are Juki specific. So here is, where are we? Let's hold it like that. So there is the new one I've got, which is so dinky, and that is my standard foot. So yes, they are Juki specific. I will not buy any compatible feet. I've said so many times, I'm in a lot of different sewing groups, machine embroidery groups, and so many times people have problems. One of my biggest bugbears, I must admit, one is that people buy a compatible foot. You can go onto Amazon, and yes, you can get them cheaper, and then you don't get good stitching, it's not working properly, or it breaks. So my recommendation every time, even though it may cost more, buy the recommended feet for the recommended machine. If you're using a Juki, use it for the Juki machine. Janome feet. I mean, walking feet, yes, you can get a generic compatible, probably 10 to 15 pounds, but Janome ones are perhaps 45 along with brother. But go for the one that belongs to it, the brother. And then the worst thing is bobbins. Please, please, please buy bobbins specifically for your machine. So many times I read, I like metal ones in my machine, and it's a top loader that actually has the plastic ones. Well, I'm sorry that they're plastic, and we're trying to improve the environment and not use as much plastic. But if your machine has a plastic bobbin from new, that's what it should have. You'll actually ruin your machine. I'm going on, aren't I? But no, please, please, please use even the plastic bobbins, compatible ones. It may not be the right one. It may not be the right size, because if you put 2 together, they will look very, very similar. But it's only a matter of millimeters that it may be wider or too deep, and you're not going to get the best results from your sewing machine. And at worst, it will break a part of your sewing machine, which you'll then have to replace at an even bigger cost. Oh, lovely, Beverly. Yes, top stitching. Yes, it is tiny. This one is for the QVP. Now that's what I was going to say. The credit I was going to give was to Hobkirks, right? They are up north. Hobkirks, you've probably heard of them. I think I've used them once before, but I ordered it on Sunday, and on Monday morning, yes, it is just for Juki, this one. Whether other brands have the thin foot, I don't know. But I just Googled, and Hobkirks came up, and it was very specific in their listings. This was for the Juki QVP Mini. So I knew this was right. There's nothing worse than ordering something and it comes and it's wrong. So on Monday I got a phone call from a lovely lady, and she said, I've just seen your order and I'm so sorry, we're out of stock. But we need to get an order together, but we will be ordering today. Would you mind if you waited a couple of days? And I said, no, not a problem at all, which is what I did, and it came today. No, yesterday it came. So I just thought it was extremely good customer service to give me a call just to tell me, I am sorry we haven't got it in stock, but we are getting it, and it came even quicker than I expected it to. So at the same time, I got what they call, another dukey one, a Teflon foot. They call it a smooth foot, because sometimes, I know not everybody does, I know Bridget uses the faux leather. The majority of time, and I will say when, for me, I can use the faux leather just like any other fabrics, any cotton, canvas, denim, whatever. But occasionally, I think it depends on the finish of the faux leather, I find it sticks to the foot. So I have used one of these before because I've got one for Brother Machine, which is lovely, so I decided to get one of these as well. I love my feet because I love to be able to do things easily and correctly, first time, every time. So Hobkirks, you have a thumbs up from me, and if anybody else would like to use Hobkirks, I can thoroughly recommend them. Hello, Bev. Oh yes. Oh, it was a side cutter. Yes. I think Judith somebody had asked the question, and I noticed Judith responded and said, I think he's doing it tomorrow or the next week or whatever. Okay. Side cutter. Yes, yes, yes. So you all saw it and I didn't. But yes, that's good. Judith, it was because I saw you were commenting, and I thought Judith likes Sewing Street, and you know I love Sewing Street, I must admit. It is the channel that I put on whenever I want to. You know, some things don't interest me, but a lot of it does, and I like to see the fabrics they have. Who do I like? One of the fabrics, I can't even think. It's a strange name, but it's really lovely. And if I get a chance of buying some, it's an American chap. No, I can't think of it now. Sharon, I don't know. No, it won't fit the DX because the DX7 has clip-on feet, doesn't it? Has a little bar, and you just lower your presser foot lever, and it clips on. These ones for the QB2P, they slot on in a different way. So I would have a look. Go onto one of the machine business websites and put in feet for the DX7 and they will come up. They probably do have one like this, but it won't be the same fitting, most definitely. So this will be for the TL range, and the DX but is what it is, it's a DX7. Okay, I would be careful. Patricia says there's a small one on Amazon that fits the DX7. I would make sure it is a dukey one. Right. So Franklin, also another brilliant company, Franklin's. Should have gone to them first, I think. But yeah, Franklin's fantastic. What is it called? It is called, wrong one. That's typical. Oh, it's called a hinged zipper foot. That is what it's called. Can you see that there? Hinged zipper foot. So see if they do. I don't know whether they do. I never want to be with, no, I can't wait to use it. Yes, so that's what it was called, a hinged zipper foot. Yes, Jack, I'm glad you agree, and I knew you would. We spend a lot of money on our machines, and it's a shame to spend the end result, spoil the end result. Just before I came on, somebody was saying, oh, they've been sewing with their machine a bit of the day, went back to use it, and it's not picking up the bobbin thread. And the very first answer said, oh dear, it's your tension, it's your tension. And I wanted to scream, no, 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 no. It won't necessarily be your tension. It's one of those things I said before. If it's not stitching properly, the first thing is not it's your tension. Most definitely. I would rethread something has, the thread has jumped out of the tension disc somewhere. So I would re-thread the top, put your bobbin back in again and try again. And I bet it works. So don't touch your tension unless you've got one of these, which is a TL mini QVP, a Juki one, or rather do the oh gosh, what is theirs? Might be the 1600, which has got a tension disc. Let me just point this down here. If you've got a machine that's got a tension disc like this, yes, you may need to adjust that from time to time. But do you know what? I have not adjusted that since I have used it. I got it to the right, in the right place, and I use it exactly the same every time. So just don't go straight for on any other machine that doesn't have your tension control on the outside. You don't need to touch anything at all. Hello Joanna. You're right. I got my Juki from Franklin's. I must admit, this came from Franklin's, as did my DX7. Yeah, they're the only two machines I've had from there, but brilliant service. Hello Jane. Yeah, they see Tony's learnt from experience. She bought Chinese plastic bobbins and the top sheared off in the machine. Yeah. So, you know, now you know that that's what you'll always do. You'll buy Brother bobbins. And they seem a good deal, don't they? Because they're cheaper. But, you know, unless you tread on them, your bobbins will last forever. Even the metal ones, I don't think you should tread on them. But I have, and Martin's trodden on a plastic bobbin before. And then you think, hey ho, carry on. Yeah, it is nice to hear Jane. And I like to, when we have good service, I like to tell everybody as well. So Jenny's got two FAF machines and each one's bobbins are different. Yeah, I've got two. One of them is, one's a Passport and the other one is a, what is that one called? A 4.5 IDT or something like that. And totally different bobbins, so yes. Now, I'm very naughty because sometimes I've started to put J on my Janome ones. Yeah, actually, J for Juki as well. So, but I keep them with the machine that they belong to. Yep, Teflon feet are great. You're right, Beverly. And it's 3mm seam allowance, fantastic. Hello, Anne. You don't want Sewing Street. Sewing Street is really good. Yes, I'm not going to disrespect anything, but it's not the same since I was on TV. A little bit different, I think. And I do enjoy Sewing Street a lot. Sonia, you're always working when the Sewing Street's on. Oh, right. That's the one, Jane? Jason Yenter. Oh, my goodness. I love his fabric. So if I can get hold of any of those, I will. How did you know? Mine's linking. Jason Yenter. Because I said it was a funny name, wasn't it? But yes, lovely. Evening, Jan. Oh, that's lovely, Josie. Yeah. Well, next time you're in there, Josie, just say how I have told everybody what a brilliant customer service they have, because they deserve it. You're trying to sort, Catherine's trying what you actually have. That's a good idea, Catherine. Sort out what you have and don't buy anything till then. I mean, most of the projects I show you, and like tonight's one, you will have ample fabric to make these time and time again. In fact, everything, or lots of the things that I've done of late, you will have the stash. And I only make kits up because there will be some people that would like one. So check through your stash. You check their schedules, Jack, to see if there's anything watching on catch up. Yeah, I do that too. Evening, Pippa. Barbara's only got Janome bobbins now. Yep. Yeah. Now you see Janome. I think there is one low-end Janome that does have metal bobbins, but it's because it's a front loader. It's not a top loader. So what you'll find and there may be the very odd exception to the rule. If you have a top loader, so the bobbin sits in the top, it will be plastic. If it goes into the front or the side, which is what my Janome does, they are metal bobbins. Here is my, so there is my Janome one. Okay, I don't like them to look at. They're not very pretty, but this is a Juki bobbin for this particular machine, and that's all I'll ever buy. And you'll see, I do practice what I preach on most. So here we are. You can never have enough bobbins, but there are my bobbins. And yes, I do believe, oh, there were 10 in here, I think. 2, 4, 5. I think there were, but they were £10. They might even have been just 5 for £10. So they're not cheap, but I want my stitching to be perfect all the time. So I will only use the bobbins specific for the machine. Hello, Vanessa. All is well here, thank you. Evening, Carolyn. Oh, hope you had a lovely time. Oh, there's Bridget. Hello, Bridget. Yes. Faff Performance 5. Yes. I'm thinking I might use, when I get my cutie frame erected, I might use my Faff on there. Yeah, definitely Janome have a Teflon foot. Don't know the price. Normally, they're around 20, I think. Because I used to have access to those as well, but I don't anymore. Oh, lovely, Marilyn. How are you getting on with it? The magnetic embroidery hoop. Oh, you watch it while having your breakfast, Joanna? Yeah. I always switch on to both. I switch on a Thursday morning. It's supposed to be sewing, Thread It Thursday. And what did I see? I think it was 8 o'clock and it was paper crafting. So I thought, so much for Thread It Thursday. And 8 o'clock, I switch over and see what's on 73. Thank you, Josie. Please do tell them. Hard to resist the fabrics. I know. I know. Oh no, I'd have a look at Sewing Street. Oh, they have lovely things. You wait until the sales officer and get your tools then. Yeah, good idea. Janome HD9 bobbins are 24 for 3. Goodness, that's the price. HD9, that was the one I meant. That's similar to this, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. But it is worth it in the long run. You know, they don't break. They will last a lifetime. But yes. Yes. Dime magnetic hoops. Yeah. I haven't got any magnetic hoops as yet. Let me just pop this foot back on before I drop it or do something else with it. The only thing with, I have to screw, but I have a lovely screwdriver. I do not lose it. I keep everything in one of my little boxy pouches, and I started doing that probably a year or so ago. Otherwise everything goes everywhere. Totally agree, Judith, but it's hard to say that, isn't it, really? Yes, Brother have their own range of magnetic hoops. Now, if I go for one, I will get, I've got the Brother embroidery machine, so I will buy a Brother one. As much as I think the dime and the magnetic hoops are brilliant, and the mighty hoops are brilliant, but again, because I have a Brother machine, I want it to recognise the hoop. And this is what sometimes people have a problem with. Whatever machine they've got, it doesn't recognise it when it's a mighty hoop or a dime one. So I want it to be right first time. I don't want the stress of, oh my goodness, I've spent all this money and it doesn't work. But it will. So the last thing I'm going to show you before we start to do the thing, this is what I got as well. Now this is Joseph's coat. And I'm going to show you, I don't know whether we'll do it next week or the week after, but I came across, this is what reminded me, I came across my templates for Joseph's coat, and they're actually not bad. They're for use with the rotary cutter, and they're not bad. Yes, you will, Bridget, yes. Oh, and Sarah thinks they're good and easy to use. Brilliant. I might get one. They're a couple of £100, aren't they? So, yes. So I've got Joseph's coat, but lazy, lazy me. Can't be bothered to cut round them. So, Let me just see what Joanna said. You liked when Chandra's, I like the song. So did many, many other people. Yeah, I think there's a lot would say exactly the same as you're saying, Joanna. So, having found those, I thought, I saw a picture. I saw another picture of a quilt somewhere, and I thought, Joseph's coat. And they've got an AccuQuilt die. And I thought, only America. So I went to another brilliant company here, the main distributor for AccuQuilt dies, Quilt Direct. And they had one. And it was £15 off. Now, they are not cheap, because this is a biggish one anyway. But I'm going to show, we haven't done any curved piecing, have we? And I have done one before using those many years ago. I'll have to look it out. You're right, Sonia. You're right. I must admit, I watched a bit of it last Sunday. And, yeah. Anyhow, as I say, I'm not... I still watch it. Or bits. I dip in and out anyway. Yes. Yes, Quilt Direct. Oh, right, Sarah. Oh, well, tell them I love... I always buy my dies from here. I mean, I did used to get them off Amazon when they used to do some deals, but you don't find many anymore. I mean, they may have a few on there, but Quilt Direct have them all. I know. So, we should be doing this because I can run it through the machine and have them all cut out just easily, which I can't wait. Anyhow, who's that? Janet, evening to you. Where did you get your die from? Quilt Direct. They are they in Tavistock? Sarah lives quite close, she says. Yeah, I think it's Tavistock, I don't know. No, they're not. The Quilt Direct. The AccuQuilt dies are made specifically for the AccuQuilt machines. They are thick. They are as thick as this is. I haven't got a... Oh, you can see there. The green here. So it's just under... It's about over ½ an inch thick. The Gemini will only take thin metal dies. You're right, Judith. Yeah. Too much giggling about nothing, you know. And no, very little in the way of demonstrating, I must admit. Create and Craft had to stop selling the dies. Yes, that's right. Some years back. And actually, I did get my machine from Create and Craft, the original Create and Craft. And I had got points or something. And I got it at a really good price because I used all the points from what I bought. But since then, no, they haven't had them at all. They do lots of... Yes, they do. They do. There's always something that I want from Quilt Direct. Joanna's also a paper crafter, so many of the shows don't have demonstrations from the company. Demonstrators, they have in-house demonstrators, who's not what I want to watch. Yeah, that's right. That is right. Yeah, okay. Right, shall we? We'll have to have another session where I just talk with you, because it's really lovely, and I could just carry on and do nothing. So this is what I did show you the other day. I haven't used the best colours actually to show it, but this is a faux pineapple block. Oh yes, Bridget, you're right. I love Stuart Hillard anyway. But yes, he used to do the AccuQuilt, didn't he? But I don't think they can have them anymore either. So here we are. Now I'm not going to do any free motion on this today. Can you see I've done a little bit here? Because when I had got this together, so this is faux pineapple block, and really easy to do, and also you don't have to be so accurate, because it is what it is. Ah, lovely. Stuart used to do them on C&C, yeah, and loved watching him, and please he's now in Salisbury. Absolutely love that man. So what I've used in here, I think I showed you the other day. Can you see how nice and padded it is? It's because of, oh, it's here. It is the wadding, which I have put on the website, insulated wadding. Can you see the thickness of that? It is lovely. The wadding is £4.50 a half metre. Now, what I was saying earlier about postage, this is actually 60 inches wide. So I have limited it to 2 units, so a metre of it. So a metre is going to be 40 inches by 60 inch piece. It will be huge. And any more than that, the postage is going to increase big time. So I'm sure you'll be able to, I mean, this is not 60 inches being the width of it and 40 inches being the metre. Oh, thank you, Pippa. I think I had a shower in that at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon because the boys were with me this morning. And I thought, I need to. So this is, and it's 100% polyester. I think it's needle punched as well, but it's lovely. It's got, and I think it'd be great for bags. I haven't made a bag with it yet, but I will, because it's got good body, but still nice softness. So let us start. I'm going to pop my, I'm going to pop my machine on, Yeah, but that's what made me think, Patricia, don't worry. Because I thought, when I saw it come through, I thought, oh my Lord, that is going to be so big. But don't worry, that's why I then altered the listing to say 2 units maximum. You know, my fault. Didn't think about it when I put it on. So, never mind, no big deal. Right, so how are we going to make this? So, we've only got a little bit of cutting to start off with. So I'm going to just do it in 2 colours, right? But on the other one I did 3 colours, and I'm going to make it more obvious this time. So I'm starting off with 2 3-inch squares of fabric. You could make it with as many scrap bits as you want, but all we will be working, you've got a good body, to Trisha. Could you vacuum pack it? Yeah, I wonder. Oh, Patricia, don't worry. If it comes to 20 quid, then I'll say yes, please, but I don't think it will. That's very kind of you. 2 3-inch squares, and all we will be working with squares, and I can't tell you the actual size at the minute because it depends how you stitch them together as to what the size will be. So let's dip down and I will just show you how easy this is. So we have our 2 pieces of fabric. We're going to pop them right sides together and line those edges up, and I'm going to sew the whole way round. Let's do it that side so you can see. I'm going to stitch 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to use my usual short length of stitch at 2 or 1.8, and I am going to sew all the way along, and I'm actually going to cut the thread and start again. So I'm not going to stop 1/4 inch from the edge. I'm just going to cut each time and go all the way around like so. So when we've done all 4 sides, depending on which fabric you want as your very centre, so I use that one as my centre square there. So it was the other colour that I am going to do my marking on. So let's see, I'm going to have the dark, that's going to be my centre, that darker one. So on the other side, I am going to get a pen, and I'm going to get a ruler, and I'm going to cross. Now you do need to mark, so if your pen works on the fabric. Let's do this again. Just go a little bit. I don't want to stretch the fabric, but, oh, that's better. Right, so it's better to do, rather than just drag your pen, unless it's a water-soluble one or whatever, but if you, oh, you can't see that. That's rubbish, isn't it? Right, let's hear. Right, so I put my ruler across the diagonal, and I'm just going to lightly go backwards and forwards so I don't stretch it. And I've made myself a cross. Okay, so there is my cross. I'm then going to pull the two pieces of fabric apart because we're going to cut this cross. Now, you may very well have seen this technique before. So a nice pair of sharp scissors, or small scissors are good for this. And I'm just going to cut on that line right into that stitched, where I've stitched across that corner. So up here, right into those stitches, and then on these other lines as well. Sits all the way into there, into that stitch there, and then, oh, who's got some music on? Whoops, went off that line a bit there. Never mind. So I've cut, and then I'm going to pop that onto my pressing mat there. Press that, lift up, and press that out. Lift up, and press that out. Lift up, press that out. So I'm pressing it, making sure it's pressed all the way. So I'm using the side of the iron when I can. There we are. And then I'm just going to trim away those little end bits there, like that, and like that. And there I have the start of my block. Now, this is my last, the lighter one, the lighter colour. So I'm going to take my dark fabric, because my next one, I'm alternating the fabrics. So I'm going to pop this down onto the fabric, and let's see if I've got bigger scissors there. You can either cut this with a rotary cutter, or I have pressed the fabric before, but all we're doing is cutting a square. So this is where you could in fact do every single round in a different fabric. So I am just cutting the same size square as that one that my 2 3-inch squares have become. Right, so there I have cut the square underneath. I've popped it right sides together, and I'm going to do exactly the same again. So up and round one side. You get my drift, don't you, already? So it's nice and straightforward. There's no, you could start with a different size for the centre. You know, if you wanted to start with a 4-inch centre square, you could. You'd want both of them to be 4 inches. Now, be careful to let your machine just take the fabric through, because these are stretchy edges, and they will stretch if you don't allow it to just go through the machine as normal. So there we go again. So now we're on, we always cut with, that one is all cut and stitched. So we always do our next round on the fabric that is the whole piece. So again, let's just make our mark with our pen. It would be better with a finer pen. But it's basically going from one piece of one corner to the other. So again, just pull those fabrics apart. Can you see how I've pulled that apart? Just fold it along the drawn line, because that will give you, and then just a little clip, and then you can pop your scissors in there and cut along the line that we've drawn. And if you can stay on that line, it will be perfect. So again here, straight into that corner. The points of the scissors won't go any further, and that's exactly where you want it to be. Now, it makes you think, well, all the points are being cut off, but press time. That is how a pineapple block, a true pineapple block, will look anyway. It won't have the points. They are basically cut off points, and that is how it is. So you haven't done anything different, and your seam allowance is there when you pop the next block or the next square on top, and it's working. So you can see how, again, that has worked. So again, I mean, this would be easier putting it on, cutting it with a rotary cutter, but I'm just clipping those little points off because it makes it easier for doing our next square. So, next square, I did the dark colour last time, so I'm going to do the lighter colour this time. So let's drag in our fabric here, and all we need to do is pop that right side down. Now I can see where that's pulled in a little bit there. If we want to put a pin or two on there, in there, that is good. So I might even just, that's it, let's just put a pin on here, like so, just to hold that, and here as well, because I want that to, there we go, I want that to come up there nice, so we can keep a good square. Okay, that's not too, that's it. Okay, so again, let's just get our scissors here, and we'll just cut, just make sure that is, I mean, you could make sure it's perfectly square by using a rotary cutter, but I'm just going up there, and then by using my pins to just hold that, I'm getting a square enough piece that makes it, oops, I must have turned that off, that's it. So there we have our pieces again. So yet again, I'm going to, and I'll stitch from this side because it's easier to see. I'm just going to pull that over, that's it. It's easier to see the actual seams. So there is our one side, and it's just gone. I'm just going to stitch that square as I go, even though the edges are not perfectly aligned, but because it is a free and easy technique, and the size that we are getting at the end of the day doesn't need to be as perfect as if we were doing a true pineapple block with templates, rulers, etc. Okay, so there we have our next round. So pop it on the top there, just give that a little press, and again I'm going to get the pen, which has fallen onto the table because I just heard it, there it is, and we'll put the ruler down and draw that diagonal. And again, I'm doing it on the full piece, the full square, so we don't cut on the bit that has been stitched already. So we'll do a little one, a little cross, and then we just pull that apart. As I say, it's easier, you can feel it there, and then line up one of those diagonals so that you can cut across there, so that you can pop your scissors in there. Now sometimes it's just as easy to put long scissors, long blades in there, because you can do one continuous cut and make sure it is on that line. Because cutting on that line is what is going to give you the perfect, or the as close to perfect square as we can. So again, on that side, flip it back. Let's see, lovely to watch for a change. Oh, hello Jane. No brownies or guides. Evening Jill and John. So just press that back. But you can see it is starting to appear. And you can see it is quite effective when you have just got two colours. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There, that's working, isn't it? And I really haven't done anything that is too difficult. So let's see if I've got a piece. Oh, I have. So as I say, we don't know what size square. It's just a case of cut as you go. So again, let's lay that on there. That one's much better. I won't clip those edges off. I don't think I've got my, I'm just clipping those points. I didn't have my iron setting on hot, which was why. Okay, so there we are. You see how that lays on there really, really nicely. So I'll stand up a minute. I'm just going to cut around here. So the last round I did the light colour. This time I'm doing the dark. Let's flip that over there and cut around there. So it's reasonably free. You know, it's not exact all the way around, but that is, it will work, it's good enough. So again, let's do on this side here, stitch all the way around 4 edges, which is unusual, isn't it? Usually we stop a 1/4 inch from the edge, but we don't need to do that particularly, just stitch off the edge, and we can keep those seams nice and flat because we can see, there's no need for them, because we can see them, there's no need for them to be pushed up and going the wrong direction. Okay, there we are again. Oh, we've just caught that in, that's good. Oh, haven't caught that in very well. I think we might, I might just do another little bit there. My seam allowance went in a bit. Let's just go over that. So I'm going to get my pen again with my ruler, and we will draw in that diagonal, and we will draw in this diagonal too. So just across, and as I say, backwards and forwards, so you're not stretching the fabric particularly. Pull that apart, and then, not that you can see very well, but I've folded along one of the lines so that I can get my snip on that line, and then we can pop the scissors in there and pop that into that corner. I usually extend the whole of one line before I go into the other, like the halfway across. It's just that I think the scissors tend to sit on that drawn line if you do the whole way across for the first step and then 2 halfway ones like we're doing here. Okay, back to the iron. So it's always good to have your iron sitting there, and just press that out, and this, and I think I'm going to stop at that round. So you've got that drift. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds, I think. But you can just keep going and going. Obviously, the more rounds you do, the bigger your square, or not so square is going to be. Right. So there is, so you can see how that looks. Okay, okay. So let's take that out of the way now. Now the next thing I did, because, I'm going to trim those little bits off there, because I didn't want to go around a squared corner, what I did, I wanted to make the corner rounded. So what I did, actually I could pull that, see I'm having to stretch that a little bit to get it squarish. I folded it in half once because I'm going to round these corners. I could make it circular, I could put a circular template, but I'm going to fold it again. So I folded it there, I'm going to fold it again and just line those corners up, and then I'm going to line that and line that as well. So all those raw edge corners are together, and then I'm just going to give this, so this is on the biggest triangular edges. So let's just trim that around. This makes it easier for putting on a bias binding. So then I have made that nicely rounded. And the reason, as I say, is so that I can just put a curve, a bias binding all around the edge on a curve. So I have got some of this wadding that I was talking about, and I am going to pop that on there, and I am going to pop some 505 spray, which I don't know if I've got any on the website, but I have got some in stock. I'm going to pop that on just to hold that in place for a moment. There we go. Whoops. And then just smooth that out so that holds that quite nicely. I shouldn't have gone so close to the edge there, actually. And I don't need all of this, so I'm going to just trim that bit away. I'll find something else to do with that. I don't like to waste bits. So I've got my wadding, that on top there. And then I've also got another bit of fabric, which is the same there. And I'm going to pop that on top as well, with a little bit of excess to the side, because we are going to quilt it. Or when I say quilt it, I'm just going to stitch some straight lines. So we'll just roughly cut that around. Make sure you've got a bit of an excess at each side, because we don't want to be, there we are. So I've got a bit of fabric all the way around so that that's it. And so I'm also going to put a bit of spray on the back here. You can just pin, you know, it's no big deal. So this would be an ideal opportunity to practice your free motion. As I said, I'm not going to put my free motion foot on and do that, but if you want to practice it, because do you know what? It doesn't matter. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to do straight lines. I'm going to turn up my stitch length, and I haven't even put the walking foot on, and I'm going to do straight lines, and I'm just going to go straight. I'll go across that little bit there, and then I can actually keep it on, there we go. And then I'm just going to do minimal quilting just to go through all the layers. And whoops, it's good to sew into the fabric, really. So I'm using the foot just to stitch onto that dark fabric there, and give myself sort of a reasonable, there we are. So you can see it's got a lovely puffing. Now what I think I might do now, I'm just going to go around the inside of this part here, of the central one. So I can stop just before I get to that part, or the bit that's attached, the little triangle that's attached to it. And as I say, quite roughly, that's it, 1, 2, 3, and then carry on, one more, 1, 2, 3, and then I'll just go over where I started. So you can quilt as much as or as little as you like, but it just makes it, I can feel it here, it's puffy, it's nice and padded. Be good if I went in that one as well. But the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stitch all the way around the edge just to hold that together here. So I'm just holding it down with my fingers, and I'm probably going about 1/8 of an inch from those edges, because the bias binding, which I'm going to use, will cover that up, but it's just holding it together. And I'm pulling out these edges because obviously they are all stretchy curved edges, and they will pleat. if you're not careful. So just pull that out. Oh, I'm coming up to the last one now already. Right, okay. And once we've done that, so there is my back there. So I've done minimal quilting. I'm just going to trim this away now. So I'm just going to trim to the edge. So I'm trimming all that excess wadding, the insulated wadding, and the backing fabric as well. So just to give that a nice, and I'm just trimming to the edge of my fabric. And then I've got, so bias binding wise, I've actually got some navy bias binding, I think it is, and we're just going to stitch that around. So stitch length back to norm, about 2.5, and where has my bias binding gone? Dum, de, dum, de, dum. I had it right in front of me. However, oh, no, I've got that bit, hang on. Whoops. Oh, let's go. Oh, couldn't find my bias binding. I know I got it right. Oh, you'd think that I have a place full of everything, but I found some royal blue. That will do nicely. So what we're going to do, I don't cut my bias binding length before I'm ready for it, so I keep it on in the whole length, and what I'm going to do is open up the bias binding, and I'm going to stitch on that crease there. So I'm not going to start, let me see, I'll put a pin here to show you where I'm going to start. There. So I'm leaving myself a flap, because that's how we're going to start and finish. And what I need to make sure, just going to come in a little bit closer, when I'm putting the bias binding on, I'm going to pull the edge of the bias binding around so it meets the edge all around that curve. Let's just see here. So let's start here. So I'm sewing on the crease line, but I'm lining up the edge of the, there we are, of the bias all the way around here. So I'm putting the edge of the bias and I'm just pulling that around, so I'm curving it. It gives me a little pleat, and the bias stands up. But it just makes life really easy if you just make sure that the edge of the bias binding that we've unfolded is right on the edge. We can trim, but as long as that is right on the edge of our hotpad, I've called it, it means when we fold it back, it's going to work really easily. Oh, I didn't cut that very well, did I? There we are. That must have folded up when I was cutting. So let's just hold that around there. So again, that is on, and then I'm just going to pull that around, and I'm just, as I say, I'm making sure it's because it's bias, it allows you to just pull that around and it still fits nice and flat. And just keep that, and I'm keeping on that crease of where I have unfolded the bias. I don't usually, I quite often fold the bias in half and stitch both layers at the same time. So I've just gone off a bit there, but we'll trim that back. So again, I'm just pulling that round. I haven't quite got round that curve very well, but I'm going to trim that back so that when as long as all of our fabrics are at the same level, so by trimming the little bits which I didn't quite get on the edge, it means that my seam allowance will be the same all the way round. Just pull that out a little bit. And now when we're coming up to here, right, so I've just pulled that around. Right, I'm coming up to here where I've got, whoops, I've got this flappy bit. So with the flappy bit, I'm going to fold that back so that I've got a nice neat edge. And then I'm going to bring this one that we're stitching over the top and line that up. And I'm just going to cut that off about 1/2 inch past the overlap. So just fold that down. Make sure that that all lines up nicely, and then I'm stitching through all the layers of the bias there. Okay, so that way it's overlapping there and nice and neat. So what I'm going to do first of all though, can you see here there's a little bit of excess of the fabric, so I'm just going to trim that back. And I'll just go all the way around here so that I know that all of this, so when I fold the bias binding back over, it's going to all be nice and even, and it will just make life very much easier. So that's come around there, that's just a little bit of excess there. So let's just trim that away. Okay. And that bend, that curve there, missed that a little bit, but by trimming it back, and there's a little bit there as well, and I think we're okay. So all we need to do now is just fold this back all the way round, back around the curves, and around that curve as well, and around that curve as well. And we can then, oops, if we turn it to the other side, this all fits over really nicely. You see that's pulling over, and we're getting a nice even amount of bias all the way round. Okay, that is lovely. Roll your finger in there, and then that goes over the top there, and lovely. So that's all the way. Now if you want to put a few clips around here just to hold that nicely in place, what you want it to do is go over the stitched line, and there we are. Just pop those on. Now what I'm going to do is here, I'll probably start at this point, just fold that over so that that piece of binding underneath is nice and level. It would probably be better if I had, there we go, if I had stitched from the other side and brought it over to the top. But right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to increase my stitch length a little bit, and I'm going to stitch on the top. There we are. Okay, so I'm just making sure that is nicely under, and I'm stitching a little bit away from the edge because I want to make sure it catches the binding on the underneath. As I say, it probably would have been better if I turned it from the front, or from the back rather, to the front. So I'm just holding that around there, and then I'm probably stitching in 1/8 of an inch, as I say, to make sure it catches the binding on the back as well. I'll take that off. Probably find it looks a real mess on the other side, but I'm sure it will be catching it because I folded that under there. And I say the last little bit is really, you see that is going under there really nicely, so we know that's going to catch the binding down. Whoops, pull that a little bit there, that's it. And then I will meet where I did the first bit of stitching and just clip those bits of thread off, and when we turn it over, we hope If it doesn't, oh yes, it's not the best, but that looks fine there. If it doesn't, this is what I will do, because it's missed a bit, turned a little bit over there. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do a second round. So let's see, I'm going to stitch around the outside as well. Okay, so it just makes it look as though it was meant to be. Well, that wasn't the... That's it. Whoops. Right, so it's decided there. That was because there's a lumpy bit underneath. So just make sure that we are... Sometimes it does push your foot off the edge. Whoops, like it has there. When there's a little bit of extra, so I'm going to have to push that in. That's it. A little bit of extra fabric under there, and it just pushes the needle off of the edge. We're nearly there. And I think what would be even better is if I did a third round, just to keep that all together. Okay, so then you can see on the back that looks fine with 2, and on the front it looks fine with 2 rows of stitching as well. Okay, I should have added a loop. I forgot to add a loop on the original one. But what I would do then, so there is your idea. Guessed we could, good idea. Was I thinking embroidery initials in the set? Absolutely. It could be a place setting, and you could do that without worry straight away. So if you have trouble with your embroidery machine getting things central on a piece of fabric, why not embroider it first and then cut your square around the initial? That way you know you're going to get it absolutely in the centre. But yes, it'd be a great idea. Applique flower in the centre, yep. So lots of different ideas. Or, you know, they could just be where your dishes of all the vegetables and the stuffing and the roast potatoes, they could just sit in the middle in all Christmassy fabrics. But it is nice and easy, isn't it? And there's no measurements to have to think, oh, I've got to cut an 8.5 inch square, or a 7 3/4 inches, or 2 5/8, that sort of thing. It's all just how it turns out. I would always say have yourself an iron and press it each time. Have that sitting next to you. Got a little bit of thread there. There we go. So actually that's going to sit in the living room now. That's where my mug of coffee sits on of an evening. So I've overrun a bit, haven't I? So I shall have my husband saying, I had your dinner ready at 7:30 and I'm still doing this. Never mind. Yes, give it a go. It really is, as I say, just based on squares, and whatever the previous square comes out the side, that's what you will use for your next square. And as I say, always cut the side which is a solid piece of fabric, not the piece that has already been seamed. So it is very, very easy. The only thing that's different when you're doing pineapple block this way is that you're working with edges that can waver. They are stretchy, but ciao for now, as you say, Tony. So I'm going to leave that with you. Tomorrow night, and I haven't got one made yet, we have the storage pods. I haven't got any left, I'm afraid, and they are all sold out from my supplier, so I haven't got any more of the mini irons. I'm afraid I use it because I want to use it. So sorry, I can't fulfill that, I'm afraid. Anyhow, I will see you tomorrow evening at 6:30 here again on the So Totally Trisha page, and we will be making storage pods with that extra little thing that makes it better than some others. So thank you for joining me tonight. Your company was lovely. I've enjoyed myself and I hope you have too. And I'll see you tomorrow at 6:30 here again. Bye for now.